I'm Will. Come with me and my dad as we explore new places. You'll hopefully learn a little. You'll definitely laugh a little. This is live from somewhere.
Hi everyone, my name is Brian.
My name is Will.
Will, tell these lucky people what they're about to experience.
Live from somewhere.
That's right, the show that takes you to awesome places along with us. While we're there, we'll share some amazing facts and hopefully have some laughs along the way. But first, I would like to welcome back, after about 3 weeks of being out, my best bud and co-host, Will.
I'm the host.
So I'm the co-host?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, my host then, Will.
Fine, you can be the host.
All right, I'm the host. We'll both be hosts. And, well, Will, word on the street is you've been dealing with a lengthy legal battle with an ex-wife.
The heck, man? No.
No? Where you been?
The heck? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Will's been out. He had a little surgery, but he's back. You feeling good?
Totally.
Yeah? You feel like nothing ever happened? Yeah, he's doing good. So welcome back to the studios, Will. We certainly missed you. I'm sure everybody else missed you. I'm glad you're back.
Yes.
Good. Welcome back, bud. So why don't you catch everybody up with what we do here on Live from Somewhere?
We're traveling to the new 7 wonders of the world.
That's right, and
Or
we're almost done with it.
Or like travel all over the world.
That's right. So where are we going today, Will?
We're going to the Colosseum in Rome, Italy.
Whoa! Can we get some pizza?
Of course, man. The pizza is made in Italy.
Oh yeah? Well, not all the pizza. We had pizza last night. That one wasn't made in Italy.
Most of it, I mean.
Well, I think it originated maybe. But maybe we'll do it. That's a future show. We're going to tell you where pizza comes from. You know what I didn't miss? I didn't miss that time machine of yours. What's going on with that?
I upgraded it a little.
Oh yeah? How's that?
I changed the fuel source. Now it runs on fruits and vegetables.
It runs on fruits and vegetables. Well, that sounds amazing. Does that work?
Yeah.
We're testing it right now, aren't we? All right. So welcome to the first test of the fruits and vegetables time machine. All right. Well, let's punch in the coordinates and then let's get going. Can't get any worse.
Clickety clickety click click.
Oh. All right. Well, so far so good. Ooh, huh? All right. This is pretty good, Will. Will, you did it, man. That was super smooth. The fruits and veggies worked.
Dada, you're a watermelon.
What? Oh, dang, Will, you're an orange. Oh, put it in reverse, man. Reverse.
Okay, hold on.
Hold on with what? Whoa, what? Will, what was that?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? I think I was a watermelon.
And I think I was an orange.
I still taste watermelon. Well, you better fix that time machine, man. This thing's gonna kill me, man.
I don't know.
Well, we got some work to do. What the? Will, do you have a gym membership in Italy that I didn't know about?
No.
Were you like working out the guns or something?
No.
Huh, all right. Well, you look good. That's a sharp shirt you got there. Where are we, Will? What's that thing?
Oh, we're at the Roman Colosseum.
The Roman Colosseum. Where's that?
Rome, Italy.
Rome, Italy. Ooh, we're in Italy, huh? Nice.
Yeah.
What happened to it? It looks all busted.
Oh, it had an earthquake.
Oh, an earthquake. Will we learn more about the earthquake?
Yes.
Yes, we will. So here we are, the Roman Colosseum. It's the largest amphitheater in the world. Even today, I think, might be. Well, now it's a big busted mess. Well, it's not a mess. I'm sure it's fine. But, you know, it's certainly not what it used to be. So when was this thing built, Will?
It was built 72 AD to 80 AD.
80 AD?
80 AD.
Oh, yeah? Well, that's like, what, 8 years?
Yeah.
Well, that's not bad. Well, who built this thing?
Vespasian.
Vespasian?
Yep.
Who was he?
That was the emperor.
The emperor. So back in the ancient Roman days, they had emperors that kind of ruled the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Emperor Vespasian, I don't think he survived to the end of this thing. I think he passed away in 1979. Yeah, in 79 A.D. I believe he kicked the bucket.
1979.
Not 1979. I get my A.D. years all messed up. So who took over for him and who opened this thing?
Titus. his son.
Emperor
and
Titus, yeah.
The second emperor.
Right. And even after Titus, there was another son of Vespasian that took over. So during this 30 years of emperordom, I think, is that a word?
No.
We'll look it up. What do you mean, no? I think it is. So it was called the Flavian Dynasty. Why was it called the Flavian Dynasty, Will?
Because his mom or family member or something?
Yeah, it was a family name. So when this opened, it wasn't called the Colosseum. Roman people weren't sitting around going, hey, what are you doing tonight? Let's go down to the Roman Colosseum to watch the Gladiator games and watch them kill each other. They didn't say that. What was it called?
The Flavian Amphitheater.
The Flavian Amphitheater. So what they said was, hey, let's go down to the Flavian Amphitheater and see gladiators kill themselves or kill each other. So that's what they said. So we'll get into more of that. But it was changed.
Why do you keep saying kill themselves?
Well, yeah, I don't know. It just rolls off the tongue. I don't know. So the Colosseum, the name changed long after. I don't know when. I couldn't find the date. But way back in the day, even before the Colosseum was there, the Emperor of Rome, the emperor of the area, was a guy called Nero. And this guy wasn't a very good guy. So he built himself this ginormous statue that was like 100 feet tall. And it was called the Colossus of Nero. He made a statue of himself.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to build a statue outside of me. You can worship it. That's kind of weird, right?
That's kind of...
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So people didn't really like Nero, so I don't know why they changed it to Colosseum, but they thought it had something to do with this Colossus of Nero being outside. But nobody really liked him. And Vespasian, from what I read, he was kind of an okay guy, I guess. So he built this Colosseum for the Roman people. He gave it to them because the other emperor really just took everything for himself. So as a show of, he wanted some support and stuff, he said, hey, I will build you this Colosseum, and it's for the people. Matter of fact, you know how much it cost to get into the Colosseum when all the games were going on?
How much?
It was free.
Oh.
Yep, he even had free food, all paid for by the emperor.
Mm. And
he did that to gain support and get people to like him. And he was super rich, so he didn't care, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this, when it opened in 80 AD, they actually had the Gladiator games there. They were just called games, I think, but they had a bunch of different games they'd play, and it went on for 100 days, that first set of games. So that's kind of crazy. And I want to talk about the seating in this place. You know how many people could sit in this place?
How much?
They said it was had about 50,000 seats, and at some points they could fit like 70,000 people in this thing. So it's huge. It's like arenas today. That's about how many people fit now. It's like a hockey game was going on or something. But how you got tickets was based on your status, what you were in the community. So who got the best seats in the house? Well,
the senators.
The senators. Yeah, senators got the best seats. Then other officials got the next level up. And then regular citizens, men citizens, and soldiers got the next one up. And you know what they call the seats way up top? They call them the nosebleeds, because they're the worst seats in the house. They still are today. And who were the people that got to sit up there?
Women and slaves.
Women and slaves. What do you think would do if you said, Mama, me and Dada are going to sit down here in these nice seats, but you got to go up to the nosebleeds? You think she'd dig on that?
No.
No, she wouldn't. So times have certainly changed since the ancient Roman days. We aren't sticking our women up, and we certainly don't have any slaves, but we're sticking them up in the nosebleed section. Now we can pay to get down the good seats. But some people weren't even allowed to go to these games, and they were gladiators, they were actors for some reason, and grave diggers. Grave diggers couldn't go because, as you'll hear in this story, they were probably busy doing other stuff, right?
Yeah.
They were digging graves.
Mm-hmm.
So what did they do here at the Roman Colosseum? Well, what was the popular thing they did?
They fought.
They fought. So they had gladiator games, and gladiators were armed warriors that would go in with blades, and I mean, go watch the movie Gladiator. You'll pretty much figure out what they looked like. But most of the gladiators were made up of slaves, criminals, and prisoners of war. So prisoners of war is when there's a war, they take people from the other side and take them as prisoners, and they made them fight in these games. And the fight was to the death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Unbelievable. And what's the most unbelievable thing? Were they only men?
No, there were women too.
What? No, what? For real?
Yes.
Yes, there was women gladiators too. There's probably a movie in the making about that. I'd certainly watch it. But what else did they do here, Will? They did executions. So we talked about that, the death penalty and stuff like that. So real bad criminals would be executed, and they'd do it here in front of everybody, which was kind of crazy. They'd set up animal hunts, they did here. So they could set the whole ground floor up to look like a jungle, and they'd release all these exotic animals, like ostriches and boars, and actually they'd let Roman people go in and hunt, and whatever they got and killed, they'd get to take home. So this was like a special day or something like that in ancient Roman history. And actually, I read that some people blamed this era of being the extinction of some exotic animals.
Mm-hmm.
You remember what one of them was called?
An Atlas wild ass.
What did you just say? What? It's a family show, Will.
Atlas wild ass.
A wild ass? Oh wait, that's another word for like a donkey, right?
That's a donkey.
Yeah. So the Atlas wild ass, which nobody's ever heard of, because the ancient Romans, they hunted them all. Yeah, it's funny to say that word, right? Sure. So they also, there was all kinds of animals that were that met their demise.
What's demise?
Demise means their end. Yeah, you could say death. Yeah. But they also did mock battles. So the whole world was based on battles back then. There's been battles even since then, right? Mm-hmm. So they reenacted these battles, and the most crazy one. You remember what the most crazy one is we talked about?
No.
The naval battles. So they would flood this thing, and they'd put real boats in there, and they would be able to have sea battles. And then they'd hit a button. Well, there was no button. There was probably some slave pulling the thing. And it would drain quickly, they said, so they could have something else in the afternoon or something. But they had naval battles. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
So after, I don't know how long, but they actually went through a remodel. And they couldn't do the naval battles anymore because what they did was they laid a wood floor and they put sand on it. But underneath that wood floor that was used for the arena, they had 2 levels of cells and corridors and just pathways and passages underneath the arena. And this was called the hypogeum. It was 2 levels under the floor. And that's where they kept all the gladiators and where they kept all these animals. So during these battles that they'd have, these gladiator games, during those first 100 days, they said somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 gladiators they had 3,000 to 5,000 gladiator fights. So during these fights, what this floor had in them was they said they had 36 trap doors around. And you actually see this in that movie I mentioned earlier that I won't mention again because I don't want to get sued by anybody. You know what I mean? Yeah, he knows what I mean. So they had actually an elevator system underneath that would bring an animal or some crazy gladiator up through a trap door, and all of a sudden they'd be there. So you'd be fighting one thing, and something would be coming up behind you, like they'd bring some lion or a bear up through a trap door, and then you'd have this bear behind you. You didn't even know he was there. You want to sign up for that?
No.
Heck no. Absolutely not. Maybe if a popcorn machine came up in the background, right? That would be pretty cool.
That would be awesome.
Right? Popcorn machines rock. But no, that's not how the ancient Romans rolled.
What if they fought for popcorn?
Well, it would be better than what they fought for, because I'm pretty sure they just fought for their lives. These were like slaves and criminals. They weren't. I think I heard about some getting actually paid for it, but I don't think most of them probably didn't. And these games, all this gore went on for like 400 years. So it was the early 6th century, so the early 500s, until the Roman people were like, you know what? I think we've seen enough of this. And it's when Christianity kind of took over. The Romans adopted Christianity back in those days. And they kind of shut down the Colosseum because people were like, I think enough people have died here. The numbers were astronomical. I think we read how many people died in there.
500,000.
500,000 over 400 years. But that's still a lot. And over 1 million animals, they said, were killed in this thing. Crazy. But eventually they lost the taste of it. And, we certainly don't really do it now. It was abandoned early on, shortly after that time period where they gave up on the games. and they kind of opened the place up. So this thing was beautiful back in the day. They had marble, which is a really nice exotic stone, and they opened it up as a quarry. People were allowed to go in there and ransack this thing. Ransack means they're pulling stuff off the walls, they're pulling seats. It was like as if somebody came in here and stole our studio. I mean, somebody went to our studio back home. We're in Rome, Italy, so yeah. So if they just took everything, so that's what they did, and it really just became just a junk pile. And in 1349, there was a big earthquake, and it dropped the south side, which is where we get the look today. So the Romans weren't too smart. They weren't like the Mayans or the Incas. Well, I mean, I just don't want to upset anybody if there's any ancient Romans watching the show. So it collapsed because it was on very soft ground. You know, they didn't build on a solid platform or a solid foundation, and the thing just crumbled to the ground. So in 1990-ish, they began a restoration project of kind of restoring it. They added some lights so they could light it up at night and make it look nice.
Wow.
And in 1999, so all this death and destruction has a happy ending. So in 1999, I think it was the Vatican, along with a lot of other countries, you know, they wanted to turn this, you know what they called this thing back in the day, Will? The Arena of Death. It makes sense. It's arena, and there was a lot of death going on. So they had this push to make it a symbol of life. So what they did was, and what passed in 2000, and what's been going on and still goes on today, is anytime a country abolishes the death penalty, the lights of the Colosseum change from white, and they light it up in gold for 48 hours.
Yeah.
You know what abolished means?
No.
It means gets rid of. So we talked about the death penalty a little bit. It's when, even today, it's in existence. If you do really bad stuff, depending on where you're at, they might say, hey, okay, well, we gave you the death penalty, which isn't a nice thing.
And then the police kill them.
No, it just doesn't happen there. They sit in jail for about 20 or 30 years until they kill them, so they have some time to think about it, which is, you know, it's kind of brutal. So anytime they abolish it, and anytime a country gets rid of it, and it happens, but also if any prisoners on death row either get released, or if it gets overturned and they take the death penalty away, they also, for those individuals, they go gold for 48 hours. Pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I never do that. I bet a lot of people watching this are like, no kidding. And you're going to go look it up, and you're going to find it, and they're going to go, you know what? Those guys from Live from Somewhere, they were right. That was actual factual facts. Right?
What's factual?
Factual is, something...
Made up word?
No, it's based on facts. Don't think all the words I make up are made up. Wait a minute. Did I just say... Nah, never mind. So anyways, I think that's... we've taken up enough of these people's time, no? So until next time, everybody, we hope you learned a little and...
Laugh a little.
That's right. That's what we do here. So we'll see you next time on Live from Somewhere. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.